Hello and welcome to the live stream. We are live from the Game Expo Melbourne and we are so excited to be here sharing some incredible indie developers' stories and their games with you this weekend. And first off, we have Logan here to chat with us. He's our lucky number one game. So Logan, tell us what's the name of your game?
So I'm Logan. I worked on King of Ping Pong MEGAMIX. So it's this arcade-style table tennis game, much like Punch-Out, the same sort of perspective, a whole bunch of zany characters getting really angry at you being better than them or absolutely smashing you. So yeah, that's that.
Awesome. And so where did the idea for this game come from?
So originally it started, the game Inscription was the original inspiration. I saw that sort of blow up and the perspective, and I was like, what if this like dark and moody like table tennis game? But then when it came time to do the idea, it sat on my phone for ages. We came up for a game jam, so like a little event where we all decided on a game to make over a short period, and that was, we dug into the archives and found that at the time I was playing Street Fighter, and I was like, let's give it more arcade flair, give it a bit more retro stylings, arcade fighter, and it sort of evolved from there into what it is now.
Yeah. So have you always been a fan of ping pong, or was that just...
I get this question a lot. It's like either that or if someone's on the team has played table tennis before, but funny enough, not really. It was sort of just like, I think everyone has played, everyone knows ping pong, but everyone relates to it as well. There's always like a little game that someone played as a kid on like a Mac or something like that. There was like table tennis game, but there isn't many table tennis games now. So we're like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. Funny enough, one of the people on the team actually played table tennis in high school, but funny enough, no one really has actual table tennis.
No one's like really passionate about table tennis on the side. It's just a happy coincidence. That's cool. And so how long have you been working on the game?
So originally started work in August of 2023. And the game released on November 13th last year. So it's been out now for a few months. We're rounding up sort of our little development on it with a big update, and yeah.
That's exciting. And so what has that journey looked like? So from that original idea through to the game jam, what does that whole journey look like for you?
It's quite interesting because the King of Ping Pong started as the first game that we made as the four of us. Originally we had a different game jam prior where there was like 8 of us in this like mega team and this in-person event. And from there, David on the team reached out, asked if we wanted to do another game jam, and then we're like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And then that turned into King of Ping Pong, the original version, which is absurdly difficult. And then we went to a different game jam, another game jam, and all while we're doing that, we're chipping away at this one until we went, well, we can just chuck this one on Steam. And then we put in almost a bit too much effort into getting it on Steam. It was supposed to be quick and dirty, but we put a lot more time and effort into it, and now it's out on Steam and in the wild.
So what made you decide that it was worth kind of shipping? So how did you kind of go, oh yeah, let's work on this out of all the game jams you did?
After the game jam before this one, we were showing it to people, and it was the game we made was like pretty bad. It was pretty bad. But King of Ping Pong, we started showing it to people, and they were like, this is good. Like they were having fun. No one was beating it. It was still way too hard back then, but people were really liking it. They liked the style, they liked the theming. I sent it to friends from high school. Even my dad played it, and they were like, there's something there. And then from that, we went to that second phase of that game jam. We put in a little bit extra time, reworked the visuals, and then sent it out again to them. And they were still like, this is great. But it's too hard. That was like the main thing. And then from there, it's been making the game easier and then revamping like almost every system from the original game. And once we had that core, like, this is going to be worth it, like, people enjoy this. We were happy to put in that extra work. When we remade the characters, we redid the UI, we redid the way the ball moves, and all of that. And,
That's awesome. All right. So have you had a moment yet that has really made all of the work that you've done feel worth it?
Oh, I mean, hopefully one happens this weekend. A nice comment would be great.
Being here,
I think when we released the game, so at the same time of release, I ended up in a mentorship program myself. And I was able to release it in sort of a co-working space. And so many people around me were able to see the game. I got to show it to so many more people, so many more like veteran devs as well. And seeing them play it, giving their feedback, and then having that support at the launch as well was sort of like just sort of a bit special for me.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so what have some of the other highs and lows of the journey been for you?
Pretty much, it sort of always was in peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
These like long stretches where we didn't have the game in front of anyone, and that's when morale would sort of decline or get a bit slow. We would wonder if it was worth it, and then we would take it to a dev meetup or put it in front of a different friend. They would play it, and you'd see the light in their eyes, sort of like enjoy it, and it would sort of go like, okay, we need to get back in the saddle, and then we would fire up again.
Yeah.
And then the cycle would continue and continue for the entire like a year period that we're working on it.
Yeah. So have you had any like really stand out, like, this is so cool moments?
I don't know if we've had like
Like,
the moment that defines it. It's always just been like little things, I think.
Lots of little wins. We love
little
that.
wins.
All right. And so what do you think makes your game unique?
Well, I mentioned before, there isn't too many table tennis games floating out there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So even though that is not unique by any means, it's like sort of a much needed refresher to the thing. And then arcade sports as well is another genre that has been sort of punched down a bit, sort of disappeared. So we wanted to sort of pull that back in, give it an arcade like fighter flair with the sports, and sort of take the familiar and make it like a different flavor of it all. But in reality, none of the core elements of the game are like purely unique, but the blend of it all comes together with this great blend of arcade and sports.
Awesome. So can you tell us more about the actual gameplay of the game itself and what people can expect when they play?
So pretty much you load in and you have an arcade mode, which is like the way to unlock the other characters and to play through. So you play the characters sequentially, and each one is sort of harder than the last one. When you beat one, you can unlock like pretty much a point to continue from. And then you'll go through each of the 5. And once you complete arcade mode, you'll unlock championship mode. And championship mode is like the near and dear to my soul, where when the game was hard and when me and the other programmer were saying the game was too easy and when it was way too hard, that's sort of like our respite from making it easy, is that we still have this almost absurdly hard challenge mode that has 5 tiers to it too. So if you do really enjoy the game and you really like the challenge, diving into that, there's a lot of depth there. And with the new update too, once that comes out, there's going to be new unlockable paddles, so you can change from the default red and black to one with a hole in it, or like one that's sort of pixel shaped, a tennis racket, I think even a frying pan. And as well with the new update, we've got a secret boss hidden somewhere in the game to find.
So tell us more about the new update. How is that improving? Because I know your game's obviously been out for a while, and you mentioned player feedback. So what are some of the new things that people can expect in the upcoming update?
So pretty much when we released the game, the core people that we had sort of almost conscripted to check out the game really enjoyed it. They liked the difficulty. They knew the difficulty was coming. A lot of people who weren't ready for it, they didn't really like it. They tried it, and they would get stuck, and they would sort of sheepishly look back like, can I stop now? And it was always something that we wanted to tweak and fix. So this new update rebalances the entire arcade mode. It is so much easier, but it's so much more rewarding to play. We had someone who couldn't beat the second character in the game, so Wilfred, who then I put the game in front of them just 2 days ago, and that would be the whole game and the new secret boss without worries. And it was like, it took them a few attempts, but it was that perfect level of challenge plus reward. That's great. And for those who still want the challenge, the championship mode's still there. That's the main core from the base game. But then on top of that, the way we made it easier was we added super moves to the game. So every character, so the player in every character has their own unique super. And we'll unleash that during the battle, dictated by a little bar that fills as you play. And they range from like a powerful fast shot to one that might disappear and reappear, one that shoots 1,000,000 balls at you. You got to figure out which one's real. So definitely check it out.
Awesome. It sounds so cool. And so what are you most excited about players getting to experience in this game?
I think it is the challenge. It's this almost calling back to Super Nintendo days where games were intentionally hard just so you wouldn't buy the next game. It's that challenge that we really wanted to harp down on, of this really fun arcade game. It's very simple to pick up. Movement in 3 buttons, or 4th now with the Super. Very easy, but there's that level of depth and difficulty with the timings and and now the supers and the way the opponent moves and things like that.
Yeah, awesome. And so the game's already out. What was it like releasing a game? What was that whole experience like?
I've got this a few times. A lot of days you're like, funny enough, the moment you click launch, it almost feels like an emptiness.
Yeah.
And as you go and you start seeing the numbers, you start moving it, you go like, it's this sort of satisfying. Honestly, it doesn't feel as good as it sounds.
Yeah.
But once it happens, it is like this feeling of relief.
Yeah.
And then it's, on to the next.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And so how can people really support the development of the game? Obviously, purchasing the game because it's available now. But otherwise, how can people really help support you?
So we have a Discord as well. Anyone to join that. We have bug fixes, the bug reports. They're so helpful. There's little things that we just can't test. Things like I think ultra-wide got flagged for a bug. There's a few other things that we just don't have the hardware to test.
Yeah.
So people coming in and saying there was an issue with this like language or this like setting that there's only 4 of us, so getting to test that is quite difficult. And the other thing is, buying the game, we have a soundtrack, we have that, just interacting with the game in any capacity. Even more if you're at TGX, coming in, grabbing the game from our booth, the full $8 will come to support us. There's no cuts in there at all, so very glad.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so what else can we dig into about this game? We've still got some time left, time to fill. So what is there a secret in the game? I know you've mentioned a secret boss, but is there anything else like Easter eggs or anything in there?
There's a lot of slight references to arcade games, characters, and sort of inspirations. I think if you cycle through them, you can sort of pick them. So Pat is our American character. Yep. The hair all flared up, very guile, very Paul Phoenix from Tekken, that burly, brutish American, all that training, a bit of military stuff. We have our final boss as well. Ping is the Chinese representative. They are the god of ping pong. So as you fight them, you'll see some ethereal arms pop up and get this really godlike appearance. Yeah. It's these core archetypes that we wanted to focus on with our character designs. And obviously the biggest one is Wilfred being such a big hulking figure. Yeah. Very much like a kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse and things like that. But he's also like a lovable, goofy kind of character as well. Yeah. Those designs. Yeah.
So is there like a story woven throughout, or is it pretty much just action?
So if you were to play the arcade game, you wouldn't get too much of it. It's mainly just the game. However, we do have both a gallery and a glossary. Yeah. And as you beat the characters and travel through the challenge modes as well, you'll unlock little entries about each character. So they'll reveal a little bit more about their backstory, about what they might be doing in the future, about interactions between them, alongside helpful tips about the game itself, like in the glossary. And then in the gallery, we have things like concept arts, little character sheets, as well as developer arts too. Each of the 4 on the team drew a little picture. Awesome. Me being not a great artist is, I'm going to say, the best one, but there's a whole bunch of little things that you can dig through.
little extra tidbits if people are looking for it. That's cool. Awesome. Yes. And has there been any game-breaking moments? Do you have a moment where you added something and it just broke everything, or anything that?
Or there's not in terms of breaking anything, but there's breaking the game open. I think Super was one of them that changed the game. In terms of breaking the game, the original way the ball moved was, I think looking back, the game was playable, but that early version, I think it's still up on itch, but it is almost unplayably hard the way that ball moves.
Cool. And tell me more about you yourself. How did you get into making games?
Yeah, so originally I studied games at university. Yeah. Honestly, wouldn't recommend it. I studied during COVID. It was very rough to be studying during COVID. However, from that, game jams was the core. The core way we found each other and got better as well. So Global Game Jam 2023 was our first get-together. Yeah. And then from there, I think we've done 8 game jams since. So I think we came 4th in Pirate Software's game jam last year. Yeah. We had a really solid game for GMTK last year. And we just kept making these really high-polished games in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I think we sort of pride ourselves on that very fast, rapid, but polished games.
Yeah.
That we really enjoy. And then through all that, each one we're always trying to get that takeaway. So even if the game isn't too flash, we still have something we can take into the next game.
Yeah.
Be it like little programming things or whole systems, even little art things that don't get used, we can sort of like shuffle them along, repurpose. And,
Yeah. Do you have any advice for those aspiring game devs out there?
Yeah, definitely the game gems.
Yeah.
Like, we were very lucky with the people we found in the right time, but you have to be there to be the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I think, especially in-person events, they're very rare, but there is one every year in Melbourne. I would highly recommend getting down to one of those. You meet so many like-minded people, you can find so many people, and even if you don't stick together, that experience, that weekend is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then from there, if you can find a little group to keep doing it with, you might be able to develop skills. But even if it's not the same group, you're always making new things, developing skills on the next game. So definitely can't recommend it high enough.
And what has been your favorite thing about making games in general, or specifically making King of Ping Pong?
It's seeing things realized is so good, especially on the programming side. You get this sort of direction of where you want the game to go, and these sort of little things of like, can we do this? Especially back then when this was our first game as a 4. We didn't know exactly how far we could push.
Yeah.
And finding that boundary and then pushing it further and further each time.
Yeah.
Seeing little systems that we sort of like dreamed of and be like, oh, it'd be so cool if we did this. It'd be so cool to do that. And now it is cool because it's in the game now.
And now we actually did it. Oh my gosh.
I think Super is the biggest one. We spent long hours in meetings talking about the second game and all these cool mechanics we'll do and all these like, oh, this character will do this and this super. And now getting a little bit of taste of that, sorting that out, especially in such a short amount of time with this update that we did, is really good.
Yeah,
really good.
Awesome. So have you got anything in mind for what's next after the update's done? Where are you going to do more updates for King of Ping Pong? Or
So
are you...
there is some little flutterings about a console release, potentially getting it onto other consoles, not confirmed yet. But we've started work on our next project too. So we were recently approached for government funding for that and sort of working out how we're going to develop that in the future. We've got a prototype working, but it's still under wraps. Lock and key for that one. But
But that's exciting to be going into a new project as well. Like that must feel really nice to have something new and different to work on.
Yeah. Just because a little bit of teaser for the next one. The next one is online multiplayer, so we've been diving into the development of that, which has already doubled the code base compared to King of Ping Pong. And we're still going to work out a whole bunch of issues with that, but it's come along pretty well.
I've heard horror stories about online multiplayer.
Honestly, no one can like warn you enough when it comes to that. You'll get the weirdest thing happen and you're like, why is this? It's like, oh, it's just because it's online now. We just have to deal with the fact that the character was stuttering because I had OBS open or something like that. It was this strange, very strange bug that you would never encounter again, but that's how it is. That's game dev.
It just happens. Yeah. All right. And so do you have a favorite like mechanic in the game?
Ooh. One that's I've always liked, one that I originally designed was punish. So when you hit the ball towards the opponent, they'll hit it back faster. So you want to hit it away from them as they move back and forwards. And early on in the game, it works much differently than it does now. It used to be this weird spot detection, but the thing is you could force the punish every time. And you could play this little like dev game that we made called Punish Ball, where you would always try and get the punish. And the ball would come back extremely fast. So it was like, how far can you go with the ball going that speed? I think it's one of the avenues we use to make the game difficult. Some characters don't move after they hit the ball. Some move once, some move twice. Some do like weird funky things, and that sort of plays into the difficulty of it all. With first you got the timing, and then you have to deal with what the opponent's doing, but then you have to realize where the opponent is and how they're moving. And it's that sort of like balance, and I really like that core part of it because it takes your eyes off the ball and have to look at them as well, and it's a great little system.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so, did you guys do all of the artwork in-house?
Yes, so the entire game is us, just the 4 of us. So we're approached this earlier. So we're Suspicious Jam, and we're 2 programmers, 2 artists.
Yeah.
And we have this good split where we kind of range from a scale of most technical to most artistic.
Yeah.
So one of the programmers, the other programmer of me, is the most technical on the team.
Yeah.
I'm like one in, and then our first artist is one there, and then our main artist, the character designer, is like very, very great, very good artist.
Yeah, no, the art style is so unique and so cool, like to see. I think, like, I know when you look at the name and you're like King of Ping Pong, and then you look at the art style, it's like, oh wow, like this is cool. Because I think ping pong, I mean, typically probably has a bit of that, like, oh, it's just ping pong, it's just table tennis. But then you see the art style and everything of this game, and it's so cool. It's like you found a way to make like ping pong cool. What? So and fun, and like not have a risk of you actually getting like a ball hit in your face or something like that. I mean, it's a win-win.
I mean, that was a big inspiration for pursuing the game. Was that even though there's other table tennis games releasing and have released past, they were very much like VR, realistic. No one had taken this sort of fantastical spin on it yet. So it was such a good sort of open field for us to take the inspiration of the game that we love, take a sport that is not getting too much love in the game world, and then sort of pair them together and get this cool blend.
Yeah, no, it's very cool and very unique, like the art style as well, and the play style, like being able to combine so many different things. So what are the biggest inspirations for the game, do you think?
I think visually, a lot of it is a lot of Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter 6 was coming out when we were playing, when I was making it. I was getting a lot of sets in on that, so taking a lot of influence from there. Originally, there was Konami's Ping Pong from 1980 something. It's very similar in perspective. Very jank. I played on like a little arcade machine. And it served as sort of that original inspiration. It was Inscription plus that was my first like combining pair. And then it slowly formed into that, the Punch Out. And then Punch Out is the next like biggest one. One that originally didn't start, or didn't originally think Punch Out. But then the moment we lined up the characters and got the camera, I was like, oh my god, this is Punch Out. And then working those little references in, and then like Wilfred and Bear Hugger and stuff from like Punch Out is very similar in that sense. And sort of trying to pair those little mechanics with our mechanics, but still keeping it fresh.
No, absolutely. And it's just such a cool concept. Okay, I have a really difficult question.
Interesting.
An interesting question. This will be the question that stumps everybody. If your game was a coffee or tea blend, what 3 flavors would it be?
I think for us on the dev team, it's a bit of like an English breakfast. A bit of honey in there. It's really sweet for us, really sweet to see. Great. A little bit of caffeine in there in the English breakfast, gets you going a bit. But I think for a lot of people, it's a bit of black coffee. It's a bit of very hard hitting. You either love it or you hate it. But hopefully with the new update, there's a bit of sugar in there too, and it should hopefully lighten that up a bit.
But it's definitely got a bit of a punch to it.
It's 100% got a punch to it, 100%.
All right, so where can people follow you? Where can people find the game?
So King of Ping Pong MEGAMIX on Steam. It's out now. We're on Twitter, we're on Blue Sky. It's usually at SusJam Games on Twitter, and then at Suspicious Jam on Blue Sky. We have a LinkedIn as well. We post on YouTube. We've done a bit of YouTube Shorts. Hopefully ramping that up a little bit in the future. But Twitter, Blue Sky, and then our Discord too. So you can find our Discord link on the Steam page. We have a shit ton of QRs on the booth. So if you want to swing around, get a Discord QR, join in. But that's probably the best place.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for being the first interviewee, the first one up. We do have an entire weekend jam-packed with so many indie games, but you should really be here. Honestly, looking around, this is so cool to see so many incredible games here and already so many people here. It's great. But thank you so much. It's been so great to chat and hear about Ping Pong. Make sure you go check it out on Steam. It is out now, and definitely keep an eye out for the new update dropping very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
We put a little teaser on Twitter. So
okay.
Very soon.